This is Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related, and today we're going to be going over some Stadia news we may have missed from last week. As we all know, it was a pretty eventful last week between good stuff and a few other headlines that came up. That said, there was a lot of news surrounding Stadia games outside of that event that we're going to be going over today. We'll be covering Watch Dogs Legion's release schedule worldwide, as well as discussing Stadia's brand new referral program, which is live on the system. We've also gotten a hint at what we may be able to expect from Stadia Games and Entertainment's first-party studios. But first, we'll be discussing a discovery made by Gem Stadia, who's a great member of the Stadia community, and I'll be linking his channel in the description below if you want to check him out. He's recently discovered that Stadia Messaging has left the testing codes, and that's a very interesting thing to see. Additionally, he noticed that they added two new strings, one simply saying "We've added messaging to Stadia," and the second stating, "Now you can quickly chat with your friends and other players about your next play session and keep the fun going across all your screens." All of this is pointing towards messaging being released fairly soon. It seems like they've already done a ton of work on it based on previous APK insights from 9to5 Google, so it really shouldn't be too surprising that it's probably getting close to release. Honestly, it's still one of the biggest features that I'm surprised didn't show up at launch, but I'm glad it's coming because it's a very important one. Being able to discuss when you want to play with someone, or even just to talk about a game, makes a huge addition to the platform, and I can't wait to see it fully implemented. It's also one of the more heavily requested user features, that's for sure. Not to mention, they recently added push notifications to the app on the phone, which is going to be great for this too. Next up, let's discuss Watch Dogs Legion, as they've now given us the start times for when we can begin playing. For people in the Americas, you'll be able to launch Watch Dogs Legion October 29th at 12:01 AM Eastern Time. And for those in Europe and the Middle East, you'll be able to launch the game beginning October 29th, 12:01 AM Central European Time. This is easily one of the bigger games coming out this holiday season, and it happens to be launching day and date on Stadia. It's always great to see official release times like this, and I hope it becomes more of a common practice, especially with Stadia. And this will take us right into the next piece of news that happens to be Watch Dogs Legion related, as it's about Ubisoft Connect. This was announced last week and is a really big deal for those of you who enjoy their titles. To give you a quick rundown, Ubisoft is merging the loyalty program known as Ubisoft Club and the desktop app known as Uplay into Ubisoft Connect. The main goal here is to introduce crossplay and cross-progression into games such as Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion. The new hub, which will be available for free, launches October 29th alongside Watch Dogs Legion. It's worth noting all major releases from Ubisoft going forward will be using Connect. On top of that, they're also transitioning quite a few of their older bigger hits into this system as well. That includes the likes of For Honor, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Hyperscape, Steep, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and Tom Clancy's The Division 2. All in all, it's great to see this sort of thing happening because cross-progression and cross-play needs to be more of a thing. It certainly helps the Stadia user base tremendously, as the player pool is still growing and not that big yet. And for players like me who do tend to own a copy of a game on multiple platforms, being able to play with cross-progression is going to be a huge help. I'm really hopeful to see more of this come from other publishers going forward, as I really want this to be a new standard. Now let's move over to another big release set for Stadia this week, and that's Sekiro Shadows Die Twice Game of the Year Edition. They recently put out a new trailer showcasing the game, and I really can't wait to dive into it. The game will be releasing October 28th, this Wednesday at 10 AM Pacific. This will mark the first Souls-style game on Stadia, and I really can't wait to try it out. It's a genre that requires a ton of precision and timing, and I remember it being brought up quite a lot when talking about Stadia and latency issues way back when. It'll be fun to see how Stadia holds up for a game like this, but I have a feeling it'll be perfectly fine. Next up, let's discuss some possible hints toward what type of game we can expect to come out of Stadia Games and Entertainment. This bit of news comes from cloudywithachanceofgames.com, link will be in the description below if you want to check out the full article, and it revolves around some new hiring positions for Stadia Games and Entertainment. The first is for a senior multiplayer programmer, and the second a senior gameplay programmer. It's the second position that gives us more of a hint though. One of the requirements for the job is an understanding of the technical considerations and best practices for games as a service. Whatever's being cooked up at the studio definitely makes it sound like it's going to be a multiplayer focused title, that's for sure. As for it being a games as a service style game, well, I think it's a pretty ambitious thing to take on. There's not many games that manage to nail this right out of the gate, and there are plenty of missteps that tend to happen. Look at Fallout 76, look at Anthem, look at The Division 2, heck, you can even look at Destiny. While some of them are faring better than others, there are definitely missteps that seem to happen quite often. Destiny is the franchise that probably handles it best, and they still get criticized for quite a lot based on how they've handled it. But there's still a ton we don't know about what they're cooking up over there, and all this really does is make me more excited to see when we get our first tease of it. My prediction is that one of the titles we will be getting will be an MMO. They've discussed a lot about the possibilities of making an MMO in the cloud, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them want to showcase that. That would be a crazy ambitious thing to do because there aren't many successful MMOs in the grand scheme of things. But it's also the style of game that really could take advantage of a lot of cloud features. Do let me know what your predictions are in the comment section below, I'd love to read them. But now let's move over to the last story of the day, and that's about the referral program which is now live on Stadia. If you now click on the invite button that looks like a gift box on the app, you can actually copy that link and send it to a friend and they'll be gifted with 1 extra month of Stadia Pro, and if they end up paying for another, well, that means that you also get 1 month free of Stadia Pro. I need to point out that the only way this works right now is if you're a resident of the United States or Canada. And that applies to both parties in this case, the one who's getting referred and the one who's doing the referring. It's always great to see programs like this in place as it definitely helps people spread awareness for the platform. It does suck that it's only available in US and Canada as of right now, but I'm sure they'll be expanding this program to other territories real soon. I'm curious as to whether or not they'll start expanding the type of rewards you can get for referring multiple people into Stadia. It'd be a pretty neat thing to see happen. Either way, that's all the news I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out. And if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Today's end of video question is going to be for those of you picking up either Watch Dogs Legion or Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Which release are you most excited for and why? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Personally, I think I'm more into Watch Dogs Legion, but Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a game I actually haven't played even though I'm a pretty big fan of the Souls series. It's fair to say that I'm looking forward to both and I cannot wait to try them out. Anyways, thanks for watching. This has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related. The Gen S community is over 5,200 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.